Engine running. Liftoff. We have
Hello.
liftoff.
Billy Garish here. Pillars of Community, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. I am stoked to be in a different locale because of my good friend, Chris Carter.
Hey, what's going on? How you guys doing? Carter Rocks here.
Carter Rocks.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you having me on your show.
Hey, man, we appreciate you providing such a cool setup.
Absolutely. The fans need to see you, you know?
I mean,
I've been listening to the show.
A lot of people say about radio, like a
Do they
face
know
for
how
radio, but
handsome
I
you
don't
are?
think I have no, I think we need cameras.
Someday you too can
My
make
mom
it.
always told me we need cameras. And I'm glad you're on the same page with mom because mom's always right. So this studio is off the chain, off the hook, off the whatever sweet.
Thank
This
you.
is what you're tricking this thing out. You've kind of set this thing up. You've been in. So Chris Carter, Carter Rocks. Give a little bit of background. Worked in media most of your life, correct?
Pretty much all of my professional career. There was a short time, and I'll say this because this is a local show.
Yes.
Where I worked in Bethesda for Marriott headquarters. That was my first job out of school. My mother, who passed away last year, unfortunately, she was there for 20 years. She got my job. I had to hook up.
Yeah.
And I'm working there. So it was a great, after you graduate college, like a great first job. Like people want to see somebody 22, 23 with like, you know, a resume builder. And then I ended up working at MTV like 6 months later.
MTV.
And it
And
was
MTV was
over.
like a thing. Music videos, Glycerine,
Can you believe that?
Stone Temple Pilots.
Stone Temple Pilots. Yep. Oh yeah.
Used to wait for those, like the countdown. What were the name of the programs? You would know.
The
What they-
biggest one that MTV had was a show I worked on called
Single Out?
TRL. Total Request Live. I was too late to meet
Single
Jenny
Out.
McCarthy. Because believe me, every boy, that was their entire life. Could we meet Jenny McCarthy? Where is she?
Yeah.
TRL was the countdown show with Carson Daly.
Yeah.
So if you were on that,
Total Request Live.
you're basically like a huge rock star. You know, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, Snoop Dogg. It was like a schizophrenic show of music. It really was.
Video Killed the Radio Star.
Yeah, and then that one, the first one of all
First music
time.
video, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So did you like So Marriott and MTV?
right. So hotels and then the entertainment industry. Not the same animal, but very close. And
Interesting.
the
Explain
way people party.
Oh yeah. So fun. Yeah, fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Both like people business. So, like, you know, they're in the fun business. I talked with a friend of mine who is a GM of Columbia Country Club, where I like to go.
Very nice place.
And thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, we're in I don't know if he's called it the fun business, but he's like, people come to their Columbia or watch MTV or come to a hotel to relax, to unwind, to have a ball. And it's fun being around that. It's like you got to be happy and up.
See, I got to tell you straight up, like, I'm
Yes.
more of a Chevy Chase Country Club type of guy.
Okay.
How's that for all you 1% haters out there? You know, being from this area, you'd usually have a friend that had a membership or knew somebody. So
That's correct.
Out of all of the country clubs around this area, that's the only one I've really gone to. A good friend of mine, Pete Dorsey, got married there a few years back. Gorgeous wedding. These are really nice places. You want to be around your friends and you know, private golf is really nice too. I don't play, but I mean, just being able to
Sometimes just
get
look,
a time.
just looking at it.
You're right.
Just look at that course.
Yeah. Well, you know, it doesn't cost you what? Like, how much is a round of golf these days? I mean,
If you're going to go to a public course, $100.
But what if you want to get a
course.
congressional?
But if you're a member at a club, private club, it's kind of like built into the membership
yeah,
idea.
it's in your
fees.
membership. So you don't have to think
But you
about
go
it.
in there, you get a cheeseburger, and it's like $7.50, which is
Right.
pretty good. Which is good. Which is a good number.
Cheeseburger and a beer.
You get a cocktail, it's $5.50.
Yep.
It's a good number relative to our area, you know. But then you got to buck up in the beginning. You got to buck up a nice chunk of cash to, you know.
Get in, man.
Mm-hmm.
The buy-in is big. You know what I was telling somebody about this area the other day? A lot of people don't realize, because when you're from here, you just always think like all the houses across America are like just pretty damn expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The houses around here have 5 times the national value, right? And real estate right now is absolutely on fire.
Ridiculous.
My friend's company, Eastern Title and Settlement, I mean, they've been cutting deals. Deals are flying off the shelf. People are buying houses like left and right.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. They're getting, in Chevy Chase, they're getting 100,000 over asking, like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that, do you think?
There's a shortage. There's a
Shortage of homes.
It's a seller's
I mean,
market.
I agree. Well, where do you think started it? You think it's COVID?
I think it's COVID related. I think it's also technology related. A lot of these people have figured out that to sacrifice the quality of life to make the money, technology sort of enabled these, nuclear families to sort of move away, but yet remain connected to like the federal government or maybe a political campaign or, heck, even like CNN, where I used to work for a long time, their people were writing, switching shows. You see this right here. Imagine that on like a big time scale from their houses. Because we live in a
talking about just you talking about just this past year, or you talking about when you worked there pre-COVID?
When I worked there a long time ago, it was you had to go to the studio
come on in.
every day. I was Wolf Blitzer's stage manager in the Situation Room, so we would have our set completely dialed, and I would still spend an hour getting ready. It's like warming up. All right, who's coming in late again? Kenny, or like, get off your phone, there, Jenny. But
so you were the
great show.
So the stage master.
I was this floor director, stage manager, right?
So you were the general, the floor general.
You're kind of like the director's voice on the floor. You really are.
You're kind of the number one guy that Wolf will go to and be like, "What's going on? This is not correct."
Yeah, except usually Wolf would be like, "I'll tell you what's going on." You do exactly what
he is. He knows his situation room, I guess.
Yeah, right. Well, at that time we were also doing. Was
he on
Larry
2
King.
hours? Yeah,
we were doing 3 hours back then.
Jeez, peasy.
3 to 6. That show's one of the longest running shows on cable right now, and it's because of Wolf Blitzer. He's an international superstar.
Oh yeah.
And then there was a time where it would be like,
what about his name?
Wolf Blitzer, and then take a dinner break, and then go do Larry King later that evening.
Talking about you.
Yeah. So Larry King was the first guy that had this remote working thing down.
Yeah.
So his entire show, the staff, the production crew, was all based out of Washington, D.C. But Larry, he wanted to live in Beverly Hills. So there's like a really small bureau on the Sunset Strip. And they would call it home running, where the control room in D.C. would be controlling where he's sitting in Los Angeles. And
home running.
Yeah, so it's the way they route the signals. So they could do that with really big stars like him, because he had a set in every single bureau: Atlanta, New York, Washington, L.A., where it looked the same. Every time you went in, the dots.
Dark, right?
And, R.I.P. to Larry King, passed away this past year. He was great. For a while there, I had, he was the voicemail on my phone when you called me.
Holy smokes.
So it was like, hello, you reached Chris. He's not here. Don't leave a message.
He did it for you.
He just did it when we were sitting at the table, right here, just like that.
Cue it up. Just do this for me. It'll take 10 seconds.
And usually you charge somebody probably like $50,000 to do that or something ridiculous.
It's like the new thing now, Cameo.
Yeah, it would be like, that would be, what's the highest person you've ever seen charge it on Cameo? What is it?
That's a good question. I scrolled through the other day.
Keith Urban, is he
of
on
like
there?
Of like some I call B or C-list celebrities. I didn't know many of them. Who's one I
saw
recognize?
like Vince
Oh my
Neil
God!
On there from Motley Crue. He looked like he had some drinks, man.
Who's the
shouldn't
big
be cameoing when you're drinking if you're a celebrity? Hey, honey, let's make an extra $700. In like 10 minutes.
I agree. The old WWF star, the Big Khalid or something like that. Big Khalif. You know what I'm talking about? Like
so many of them.
7'4", huge dude. He was on there. Do a cameo for like $50.
Serge, maybe you know who Big Khalif is?
Great Khalid.
The Great Khalid. Thank you.
Give it up to Serge back there, switching the show.
Yep.
We'll get a camera on him soon enough. But
making it work.
So how much was his?
I think 50.
That's it, 50? So nothing's like really gone big. Like,
I mean, if you're trying to get like, I don't know if LeBron James is on there yet or not, or if some people pronounce him LeBron.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, some of those they're the real stars aren't doing the freaking cameos because they're too busy being the main picture. They're not a cameo. They're the lead actor. You know what I'm saying?
They are,
so to speak. You follow.
He's the face of the NBA, so I wouldn't do that either.
No.
How much do you think like a Tom Brady cameo would cost? I wouldn't go less than $10,000 for 30 seconds.
Hey, Giselle.
Make it worth it.
Giselle.
But what if you could request it? Like, for your wife's 50th birthday, you go, honey, I've got you the cameo with Tom Brady. He's in the bathtub drinking champagne. That's what 10,000 will get.
He'd probably be in the bathtub drinking like almond milk.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, well, we've heard about that guy. You're an ex-athlete. I want to ask you a little bit about.
Yes, please.
Tell me about your time playing Duke lacrosse, man. Let me tell you, people, this is big time D1 lacrosse here. I played lacrosse in high school and college, but the level that you played, wow, amazing. Do you see anybody out there right now during the season, like Maryland, that's going to win the title that you think kind of stands out?
Maryland's number one.
Are they ranked number one?
They were number one.
Yeah, okay.
I think they're undefeated. I think they've been almost been number one the whole season.
And they've got that.
I haven't given up that spot. I mean, they're as good as it gets, obviously, because they're number one. ACC is stacked. Virginia, UNC, Syracuse, Notre Dame. What's that other school? Four-letter word starts Duke. There are
four-letter word.
It's like one of those, in the NFL. Help me out. One of those divisions that just like they beat each other up, and they get in the playoffs, and then like sometimes they'll win it all, but sometimes they're too banged up, and then they won't do it. They won't. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the top four teams battling. But it's fun. It's fun to watch. We're in the thick of it. Duke plays Notre Dame Thursday night. It's funny. You tune into like Big Ten Network. When we talked on the phone on Saturday, I was telling you Maryland's about to face off. Maryland was playing, I think, Ohio State or Penn State, maybe Ohio State. A former student of mine and player, Teddy Myers. Excuse me. Myers, he's got like three brothers. Not Patrick, but anyway.
He's a great player if he's on
number
that team.
two, playing attack,
right.
Went to Gonzaga.
You know what's so crazy about the high school?
And he was tearing it up, but they ran into the buzzsaw, which is the twerps or the terps? The terps.
I remember when Gonzaga used to suck, man. I used to
total
beat
doormat.
the crap out of that team.
Yeah.
And now they're just like, it's right. It's Georgetown Prep. You're all modern.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, Landon. Who else? He's talking about Bullis because they in there. St. Albans. These are all good teams.
Bullis is good now.
Yeah. Bullis is good. I mean, Bullis was always like a hard game. My coach in the 90s was a guy named Lee Corrigan. So we had a really unique coaching setup where we had a really talented guy, knew the game, brought players up quickly into the mix, and we were Montgomery County champions, but it was public school, it was Watkins Mill. So it was a little bit different than the private league you play in, which is like just loaded with guns, man. I mean, just the benches are deep,
I mean, everyone's good now.
Yeah, everyone's
private,
good.
Public included. The guy, I'm sorry, Jack Myers. He's one of my
Jack Myers
all
playing
time.
For Notre Dame.
No, playing Ohio State.
Ohio State. Okay.
But he was one of my all-time favorite kids that I taught and everything. But anyway,
well, what was good about this guy, Jack Myers? What was his deal?
He was.
He big? He fast?
I was more talking about who he is. He's just a nice.
I don't care about his personality. I don't know if he's going to win the game.
Give me his stats. How much you bench? Best in show.
I'm sure he's a phenomenal individual if he's brought up in that system. You're not.
He was a modern day. He was a modern day guy. The whole Myers family is sweet. I taught them all, coached them all, but yeah, he was just a nice kid, interested, funny, good sense of humor.
That's right. I know who played for Ohio State, who actually lives in this area. You know who Josh Funk is?
Don't.
So Josh Funk used to go to Poolsville, right? Like back in the day, and he was player of the year, but he went to Ohio State when they were kind of coming up D1. Mm-hmm. His younger brother this year was the running back for Maryland. Jake Funk just declared for the NFL draft.
Oh, my.
Jake Funk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's
just a real banger of a running back.
Go Terps, bro. Did you go to Maryland?
Nope. I went to Shenandoah University, a small school right over the mountains. I can't handle that Maryland stuff. Man. It's probably like a madhouse down there.
Terpville.
The Terps, right?
Yeah.
I'd go to games down there. I felt like I went to school there, but at the same time, in that type of environment at my age, I'm just glad I graduated in 4 years. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
a small school. My school, Shenandoah University, was like going to college in Dawson's Creek. You know, I dated the same girl for like 3 years.
Yeah.
We'd go out and have like our friends by the bonfire, and we'd pull the pickup truck with the keg up.
Right out of the movies.
You can't do that down in College Park. You can't just start a fire, right in the middle of the field down there. The cops are coming.
Yeah. It's what you read about, It's Shenandoah University.
Small school versus big school. Right.
You liked it, though?
Loved it. Had a great time. Made
How
some
many
great
people?
friends. Right now, I think it's whopping like 4,000. When I went there, it was about 2,000.
Yeah.
So, small little place, but just for further enough over the mountains to get away from home. Right?
Correct.
So you couldn't just run home without kind of making plans. About an hour and a half is sort of the cushion. Some of these little whiners down there in College Park. Mom, can I come home and do my laundry? I lost my card. Grow up, man.
Laundry.
Your mom doesn't want you coming home and do your laundry.
Laundry.
You can't do that on your own. You shouldn't be in college. It's to say that.
I mean,
you're in the military is where you should be.
you need a little bit more than
You've never done any service in the military, have you?
I have not. No,
that's kind of one thing I always regretted.
Yeah.
I should have taken my degree. And I had a package with the Navy at one time for officer candidate school. And at the time, when you're like 26,
yeah,
I was like, oh, I'm over the hill. They're never gonna let me in. And
I remember when you're 26, you're like, you get your late 20s, you're like, oh man, I feel old. I did 5 years at Duke, right? So I graduated at like 23, and I was like, I felt like such the old man. I would
get your cane out and walk
I would
around
like
campus.
come out of the locker room or come into the locker room like kind of like stiff, like maybe half stiff, but also just kind of like faking stiff because I'm like I bought into this old man sort of label or whatever.
Sympathy. You wanted the chick sympathy is what you want.
I was more going for just the wise 23-year-old sage.
It's like the Big Lebowski in college.
Yeah, I don't think you're off, bro. But
love it.
Yeah, you've always in media you've been behind the camera.
Both.
Most all the time. Right?
I was actually a national correspondent for One America News in my last big network job. I say big network, this is a very small network out of San Diego. My behind the scenes work was more involved with technical operations at CNN, where I was there for a decade. And then I started out at MTV. So it was like, I went from MTV to CNN before they had lost their minds. And then on to One America News. So, now I'm kind of running my own business, always evolving media, and we're branching out into all different types of things like real estate influencers, these type of people that are selling houses. I was in a very nice $13 million mansion in Chevy Chase the other day. They got dropped down to $11 million, bottom bargain price. They're giving that thing away.
Easy peasy. That goes counter to like the housing market we're talking about.
Well, it was two gentlemen right there off Connecticut and Fessenden. You know where that is?
Yeah.
So there's a really nice house for sale back there, only $11 million.
Dropped from 13 to 11.
Indoor, underground garage, pool.
My Lord.
It was one of the nicest houses I've ever been in. Absolutely crazy.
I love our area. I grew up here. I grew up Bethesda, Chevy Chase. I more and more enjoy being outside of the noise.
Just outside of the Beltway.
Standing outside the fire. Yeah. It's just coming up here. I love getting on 270 and driving. Like I went and got my Johnson & Johnson shot the day before they came out with this blood clot. Blood clot news.
Like they know who you are.
Yeah. And driving up 270 an hour up to Hagerstown. It's a beautiful drive.
Hagerstucky. Okay, now that
Hagerstown.
place. That's where I got a shiver up my spine when you said that. I lived in Hagerstown for a little while.
Yeah.
I'd taken a job at a small newspaper, and it was an absolute disaster. People, let me explain to you out there, all the younger people who might be considering moves in your careers, investigate how many people have had that job before you took that job. Like how high the turnover rate is. Because sometimes people will set you up for failure, and it's not fair, but it happens professionally where they just say, we can get anybody. This is a media job, where you don't want to go into a toxic work environment. Like I had a really bad boss.
Yeah.
She was an awful lady. She got arrested for forging documents and all this just like nefarious activity, stealing people's passwords on the office machines because she put spyware on them and like all this nutty stuff. Anyway, don't go see the band The Reagan Years if you ever have the chance. You might want to skip that one.
The Reagan Years.
You know who they are?
Oh, there was a cover band?
I heard she went from working as a news journalist to a backup singer in a band, but
holy smokes.
We won't have to mention any specific names.
You're up there for how long?
I lasted about 3 months before I had it out with this woman.
That's like it's like a relationship.
Got right.
It's better to know early on that the chick's crazy or the.
I would drive to Hagerstown on my way to Deep Creek Lake, and I remember that was like the halfway point.
Okay.
Like Hagerstucky.
Before
you get into Cumberland.
That's what you call Pennsylvania, Pennsyltucky.
Right. Well, it's just right up the street. You can't really go much further north without being in Whitetail, which then you're in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of skiing?
No.
Yeah, because I'm not a skier either. Like, I'm a beach guy.
I mean, so Debbie, my fiance, she has 4 kids.
Okay.
And I don't know if I told you that over the phone or not, but I love getting into this sort of like stepfather role with them, more like kind of like a mentor role, and it carries on from my teaching of just like I'll go skiing, no problem. I'm not gonna go by myself, but I'll take the kids.
Right, I feel you.
I like bowling, sure. Actually, I've really kind of getting into bowling, but because I've taken the kids bowling a number of times.
I have a crazy question for you. Shoot. Did you see the viral video with the drone in the bowling alley and the one take?
No.
It is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Some guy flies a bowling alley
up here, like Rogan style.
Some guy flies a bowling alley, flies a drone from outside the bowling alley, and does 2 laps inside, and then the second time he goes behind the bowling alley where all the machines are, and it comes out, and it's one take.
It's one take.
It's legit. Some of these drone pilots now, some of the stuff they're coming out.
How good
amazing.
They are
really
with the controls without crashing it.
Yep. Super sensitive and very fast. Just really, really awesome sport, man. It's so much different. I started out flying drones.
Drone flying?
Yeah. You know what made me want to do it? I had this vision.
You have drone?
I have many. I've had several.
Oh,
I've got one right up there.
It's a sport?
Do you know what the drone racing prize was? Speed drone racing in Dubai?
No.
Million?
Can you tell me? I mean, $1 million in Dubai is kind of like $1,000. Yeah.
You gotta get yourself a pizza.
You gotta adjust for like geopolitical.
Yeah,
yourself a pizza.
It's something about like these crazy sports now. Like esports is a huge thing. These gamers, they're making money. They're on the cover of the magazines. They're doing this. They're doing that. Schools are offering these type of degrees, which I don't think is necessarily the best thing for higher education, but kids are there. They want to learn. I mean, they're streaming on Twitch. What we're doing is a little bit different right here, but essentially like the same technology, IP-based broadcasting.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be into.
What's Twitch?
Twitch is a gaming platform where a lot of teenagers use it to stream. And you can really stream anything you want on there. But most of the time, think of, teenage girl with her headphones on, like in her bedroom playing Fortnite or Soul Calibur or something like that.
Soul Calibur.
Do you like Soul Calibur?
That's still around?
Oh, yeah. You're looking at one of the top players. Like
Soul Calibur.
The director.
For like the Dreamcast?
Well, you know what I was doing for a while is when we first started experimenting with this streaming technology, we were hosting Soul Calibur tournaments in my apartment in New York City.
Soul Calibur is like a one-on-one fighting game, correct?
Yeah.
It's like played in college, like Street Fighter.
It's like a badass version of Street Fighter, right?
Yeah, they got big weapons.
My friend Serge over there, he invited a crew of people to come over, and we were testing this technology with the gamers, and we were like, this looks like better than anybody's stuff that we've seen out. Like, we've got to translate this. Now, Twitch is still really basic, like, with a green screen and maybe some effects and like a single cam. So I think it's going to evolve and get bigger. And gaming's not going away.
Talk about Twitch right now.
Yeah, Twitch too. There's a lot of platforms out there, but they have different.
It's a hot market, I bet.
Yeah,
it's a new market. It's a fresh deal. I think a lot of those sort of like getting into that sort of realm, or like kind of figuring out as they go.
Twitch is almost like a nice version of OnlyFans. OnlyFans is another subscription-based website where you establish a relationship with somebody. Let's say you like to cook, and this guy does sushi. For $5 a month, you can subscribe to his channel, and he'll just kick you out some recipes. Now, there's also, the girl with the koozie in the hot tub who's probably like 22. She wants you to subscribe to her channel too, and they've got to blow up a hot tub in their little apartment. It's kind of funny. If you look at it on Friday night, you'll see some of the crazy things women do. I mean, they've got women, dressed up as the devil, reading the Bible.
Yeah.
It's really, interesting things.
Eye candy.
Really?
Clickbait.
That's what it is. It's clickbait.
Yeah. It's crazy the world we live in.
You know what we call it? This is a term that my director got me into. It's called a thirst trap.
Talking about search?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a thirst trap, do you know what that is?
I got some right here.
So like a thirst trap, for instance, have you seen these girls that fish on the boats? Like Fishing with Louisa. They've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Okay.
They go on the boat.
Okay.
They fish.
Okay.
They wear a very small bikini.
Yeah.
Every time they put the hook in the water, a fish is coming out. And they've got a drone pilot. They've got a 21-foot cobia. They're set,
Yeah.
Sunny day. Everybody's catching fish. She'll drop a video.
Picturesque.
She blows me away, man. She'll get 150,000.
Called fish catch.
Thirst traps.
But
there's many. There's another one. Her name's Hannah. She pulls catfish out of the mud down in Lake Georgia. She's as cute as buttons. She's like a little Southern girl. She's like, let me show you how I go up. I don't know, what do they call it again? They call it like noodling. It's called noodling. You stick your arm in the mud, the fish bites your arm, and then you literally pull the fish out
while it's latched onto your arm.
Through its gills. And like this little girl's probably like 100 pounds. She's pulling up these fish. It looks like she's putting a large dog like on her back.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Her name is Hannah Barron.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
millions of viewers.
Catfish can grow to be huge.
Huge. I would never let someone bite on my arm
scary
like that.
stuff.
No way.
And they have like the Fu Manchu mustache. Right?
Well, some of the ones they're pulling out, man, you're like, how does that thing not take off your hand?
Jesus.
Yeah. Do you ever do any fishing?
Never been a big fisherman.
Because you got a place down at the beach. I do a little bit here and there if it's like the right area. I was in Tampa for a little while, and we had some boats down there, and this kind of boating club thing that we were in. It's actually pretty cool. It's Freedom Boat Club. It's in Washington, D.C. too, but like you don't really, it's almost like a boat share.
Yeah.
You just have to like reserve it and go out. You don't have to pay all the maintenance, man. Boats are real money pits. So, I'm doing kind of like a little boat action there, and we'd fish every now and then, but not like the real fishing. Like the real fishing, you have to go like out to
like
sea.
deep sea.
Yeah, you got to have a guy who knows what he's doing. Like I can drive the boats, close to shore. I'm not going 20 miles out.
Right.
Like, I lose the iPad, Navionics, start looking at the sun for which direction to go back to, right?
And then it gets dark, and you start looking at the stars.
The time. Really? People die on boats all the time not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Look at these NFL guys. They go out, they're drinking with their buddies all day, fishing. Oh, nighttime now. Oh, we don't have the lights.
We're out of gas.
Yeah, we're out of gas. Get on the radio. Oh, it's out of batteries. Oh, great.
Check
I
your
use
phone.
This boat twice a year.
We're roaming.
Right. It's like, no, you're not. You're about to crash into the rocks and die.
Yeah. Not Carter Rocks.
Not Carter Rocks.
How'd you come up with that name?
Actually, it's kind of a play off of the local town Carter Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know what I was doing? I was thinking to myself,
Carter does rock.
Right. So I do rock. Thank you. So my friends and I were just joking around, and I was like, what's so funny? How the actor Chevy Chase, like, people think that Chevy Chase, like only idiots think this, that the town Chevy Chase named itself after the actor. Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, dude, the town of Chevy Chase is like 300 years old,
Which came first?
Right. So,
Washington, the state, or the guy?
So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what town around here? I'm like, oh, Chris Carter. I'm like, Carter Rock. I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a joke. I'm like, it sort of works. And a friend of mine said to me he was driving back from like Pennsylvania the other day, going over the river, and he saw the sign You know, when you get into Maryland, Carter Rock, but that's C-A-R-D. I'm C-A-R-T. So, you know, a little bit different there, but it's still same play.
It's clever.
Thank you.
Yeah. But my initial question a little bit ago was like, behind the camera, dude, you're made to be in front of the camera.
That means I'm a BS artist.
Well, I don't know what you are, but you got whatever it is, you got it, man.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, I've trained a lot of people. I've been around a while. You know, I know it's a lot of work.
Absorbed a lot.
When I was reporting in New York City, you know, I'd be outside of the United Nations. I covered the United Nations was my beat. That was my main beat, but I also covered everything in New York City. So, you know, a few years ago, there was a helicopter crash, you know, right there. My apartment was right in the East River, right by the East River. I've got the pilot coming out, you know, dripping wet. Just the different stories, you know, terrorist attacks, 9/11 anniversary, you know, New Year's Eve in Times Square, and then all the things that are wrong with New York now that are just like out of control. I mean, people are fleeing the city, but some people still want to live there.
Not Serge.
He lives in New York City.
You live in the city, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is it?
Oh, it's fun.
It's coming back?
He loves it.
It's home.
It's home.
It's home.
Are you from there?
Oh, I'm from Moscow. I just like big cities.
Moscow?
That's what I do.
like Russia.
Like Russia? Oh
Russia, Moskva. Moskva. Russians say Moskva.
Moskva.
Меня зовут Крис. Привет.
You like big cities. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's sad what's happened to all the major metropolises with COVID. It's a travesty.
Well, you know what's crazy is the stranded, I call it like a stranded state of journalism right now. There's some really good international coverage, but all the stuff in the foreign countries that they're not showing us, right? Like, can you imagine in sub-Saharan Africa, like what that's like right now? Or even some of these cities in Europe. I mean, thank goodness we got the vaccines. You got Donald Trump to thank for that, straight up. I don't think anybody thinks that would have happened if he wasn't just like, you know, pedal to the metal,
push
people.
It through.
This isn't the old model. This is the new model.
Yeah, the business sort of model.
Right. Things need to move fast.
They're getting it done. Like, put some pressure on the bureaucrat sort of model. Yeah.
Well, so many people, you know, these millennials, you know, they could kick our tails with the way they know how to work faster and smarter. The government needs to work like that. And this time it actually did. Literally, America saved the world. I'll say it.
America was any other countries have a vaccine to their names?
Yeah, they do. They say they've invented their own or whatnot, but I don't trust the integrity of that.
Yeah.
I trust NIH.
Yeah.
Shout out Bethesda.
Yeah.
I trust the FDA. Shout out Rockville. You know, what else we got? I trust Walter Reed. Shout out Bethesda.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the land of doctors. You know what I mean?
Very much so.
I mean, every third guy's a doctor or a federal agent or a politician.
The MD. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Which one are you?
By day or by night?
How's the teaching going?
Good.
I bet you kill it in there, man. I take every single one of your classes.
I love kids.
What do you teach?
Well, right now I'm just tutoring.
Okay.
I'm tutoring.
Well, that's great. Even more focused.
Yeah. I taught modern day for 14 years.
Yeah.
And this past spring, I was just like, maybe it's time to shake it up, you know? And it was like just before COVID hit. And I don't know. I just like, even before, it wasn't even COVID related. I was just like, I'm going to go try to strike out, do something on my own. And I did this thing right here, the Academy.
Yeah, I've been watching this on social media. This is like a place where you're mentoring younger children to become, you know, a little bit more responsible, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, it was a fall deal. Right in the thick of when COVID was wreaking its thing up on schools and things and families. Kids would come to my house, and I had it set up as like a learning center, and they would do their online learning.
That's when I think I remember it from the beginning.
They would do that. I would make sure they're all logged in. I would give them enrich the experience a little bit, I like to think. And
because there's just nothing that beats a teacher like on site.
Yeah,
right.
instead of being in their parents' hair,
Yeah, and that too. Mommy and daddy
I know how to deal with
the
kids.
bills,
I know how to deal with,
right.
so come to me and, I got 14 years of experience doing this stuff.
I would have totally sent my kid to you. That would have been just a no-brainer. I mean, like every day, and guess what? They'd still be there. I don't have any kids.
Be mine, yeah. Adopt a little Carter Rock.
That about 50,000 people just shiver went up their spine when he said that. It could be you. But it's not. We love kids, though. I coach children. I've actually been a substitute teacher.
You're good with kids.
I know how they think. I mean, it's kind of funny because parents are like, oh, well, you're never a parent. It's like, I get that, but I also know the things that parents are soft about. Like, can you imagine sending your kid to school nowadays without a phone? Mm-hmm. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring a jammer into the classroom.
When you're a sub?
You can buy a jammer for a cell phone for about $400 and take out a signal of about 100 feet around you.
What does the jammer do?
It just makes it so you can't get a cell phone signal.
So it jams
these
up,
little devils. You want to
up,
see them panic?
It jams up other.
Everyone's going down. There's no right. There's everybody's. It's like a nuclear. It's like a nuke for cell phones.
Yeah. A radius, a bubble you walk around with.
There's some legal issues with that, but I know movie theaters were doing it when teenagers were really out of control with the phones in the movies.
Yeah,
they just say, all right, well, we'll just take out all the phones.
We'll institute the jammer.
I mean, you don't think the government has that type of this type of machine?
Yeah. Shut everything down. That's great. It's I mean, and parents will send. They're part of they're a large part of the problem, I think, too, because they'll send the kid. A lot of them will send the kid with the phone, so they
want the kid to have
just in case. And
he has to have.
Something's going to change about.
I must be able to get a hold of him at any second.
Freakish.
The need. It's the parents. The parents are soft.
You have to relax your grip on your kid.
The smartest,
in order for them to grow.
Understand that.
Yes. In order for them to mature into a human being of the world, you have to let go.
You got to fall down
gradually as you go.
You got to learn how to, beware of strangers.
Yeah.
Right? That can happen through your phone, Yeah. But yet they want it in the hand every second.
Serious double-edged sword. Serious double-edged sword. There's a lot of negative swing that comes with this great thing, what's called a cell phone or iPhone or whatever. Android.
iPhone. I don't even want the phone in my brain, so I don't have to type. I just think and it types, and it's there.
I mean, did you like that?
Amazing. Well, the watch has been great. I've gotten got one of the new ones, man. What's cool about it is the band. The band is like stretchy, and you can really just kind of wear it anywhere. You can wear it with a suit. You can wear it with your bathing suit, and it always looks the same. And it's like pretty tough. Yeah. You know what I mean? And these things are expensive too. I mean,
Passco's not very creative.
$400.
I'm in.
What's that?
Passco's not very creative. I'm in there.
Already?
Yeah. Jammer. I'm kidding.
To my iWatch.
I have this thing. It's a step counter.
So how many steps a day are you?
I'm 13,000 right now.
This guy's banging. You heard that? 13,000
I golfed.
That's New York City stuff.
I golfed. I played 9 holes. Then I ran 3 miles. Then I took a shower. And then I haven't really been doing much since then. That's enough right there. But I run around with Debbie's kids and stuff in the back. That's why I was a little bit late,
Now, how old are they?
They're 11. This is Jack. 11, 9, 6, and 3.
That's a busy woman there.
That's a busy woman.
But those kids are in
busy
shape,
woman means busy man.
That's right.
And so we're on our toes. We're running around, herding the cattle. They are, but it's so fun. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to go to Tampa tomorrow. I'm gonna go to Tampa and play golf.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
but it struck me today that I'd miss hanging out with the kids. I mean, and I was talking to Debbie, and she's like, "You're gonna hang out with the kids anytime you want. Go to Tampa with your friends and all." I was like, I don't know if
Where in Tampa?
Like it. I don't even really know.
Well, Tampa's, it's kind of funny about Tampa because Tampa's on fire right now, the sports town. I mean,
oh my God,
Brady is like the king of the state.
How long is he gonna go?
Right. He's like the governor of the state.
How old is he? 42.
42.
42. Yeah.
Yeah, I
he's the governor of the state.
He's like the governor of the state
facto.
now, and like Gronkowski is his deputized. Like he's running the police force. So these two have like owned the state of Florida now.
Yeah.
This whole DeSantis thing, this is guy's like
He's great.
He's like a Fox News guest. The real leader.
He looks
is Tom
good. He looks
Brady.
good on the TV.
Yeah. But it's a sports town. The Lightning are always good.
Yeah.
The Rays have been
won.
doing well. Tampa's really on fire. I mean, like unlike our town has really had a run recently, but it just faded so fast.
Tons
Cavs
from
and
sports.
Nationals.
Yeah.
And then the Redskins, I'm sorry, the Washington football skins, I'm sorry. They don't. Isn't it funny to listen to the announcers cover this on TV because they're like, darn it, I said it again, Redskins. Like Redskins.
Yeah.
It's just
Like
who
did
this?
Like they feel so bad.
Are they taking
because
everything away from us?
They said that term, Redskins.
I just never have heard a person that's pissed off about
Meanwhile, it's like all money talks and sponsorships and all that stuff. But you talk to a handful, I think, I've heard of Native Americans are like they enjoy the tribute that the name brings to their people, to their culture, because when it was conceived back in maybe 50s, 60s, it was a tip of the hat to players on the team and the coach who were Native American.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why it was a positive thing,
Right.
You know?
Well, what's kind of unique about DC? You notice how there's always so many Cowboys fans in DC? Mm-hmm. So do you know why that is?
Because they're trying to round up all the Indians.
There's kind of like a reason for it historically. Because in the 20s, the Redskins were the last team to desegregate in the NFL.
Huh.
So because Washington, D.C., the inner city.
So you're saying the Skins were around in the 20s?
They're the oldest franchise in the NFL.
Redskins?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure of it. One of the oldest, if not. Over 100 years.
Surge?
How old are the Washington Redskins? So let me tell you this though. So because the inner city of Washington used to be so predominantly African American, they used to call it Chocolate City, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of pissed off. They're not letting people like you play in that league.
Yeah.
Then who do you like? You like the enemy.
Yeah.
Of your enemy.
Exactly
the
right.
Cowboys.
Interesting.
So that's why you see a lot of African-American guys in D.C. with the Cowboys gears. It's transgenerational. It's passed down.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna go to like the closest of kin that's your rival.
Yeah. And it was totally it was wrong. Okay, 1932 they've been around
89 years wrong.
Yeah.
That's old.
Yeah, but think about it.
But it makes perfect sense.
Right.
Makes perfect sense.
I mean,
not that they didn't desegregate. That doesn't make perfect sense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
But,
it makes perfect sense that people would feel that way now. Like, I mean, I don't really even remember our country ever being as divided as it is now. I just never felt this way. Like, I remember.
It's either that
talking about
it's either that it is.
I never experienced it.
Or it's what the media wants you to think it is.
Sure. See, we're about to enter
Like
the
art or
summer
reality.
lull.
Which one?
And they'll make stories up. There's so much fake news out there right now. I mean, you really got to watch it. But at the same time,
Are we that divided racially?
we are not. The real people out of this country are not divided racially. I mean, I know there's a huge contingent of people who would say, like, yeah, that's BS. We support our people. But it almost feels like, hey, guess what? Like, we all know every race is for themselves now. Right? You've got AAPIs.
Yeah.
They're in the forefront. Asian American Pacific Islanders.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
What they would say are white nationalists or nationalists, and all these different competing like interests. For the time, and it's kind of scary.
Is it like a certain race doesn't want to get left behind, so they got to create some group?
Well, think about it. Like nobody's got it worse than the Redskins. Oh, I just said it. My God. Okay. Hold on. I mean, the Native Americans of the country. Come on, they were really the most. They kind of got the short end of this stick. But at the same time, we brought medicines, tools, advanced Western civilization, did all types of things. The computer, automobile, airplane, computer. I mean, you look at some of these older cultures, and you're wondering, like. We found the vaccine to one of the most deadliest viruses, like very quickly because of modern medicine that we invented. Like, how could we be that bad of a people? It was like capitalist society, right?
I mean, it's like the whole everything in the world and life is anything beautiful has a rotten side to it. The double-edged sword applies to almost anything in life, I think.
Like a sports car, you might love driving that nice convertible around, but then you went too fast and got yourself killed.
Yeah. So with all benefit comes, some drawbacks and stuff. With technology, you have the potential of jamming a bomb into the size of into your palm of your hand, and you can sneak that stuff wherever you want to sneak it. You can also, your iPhone has the sum of all human knowledge in the palm of your hand. You want to
it really does.
Pop on
That's
the
a good way to
Safari
look at
or
it. I've
Google,
never even thought about
Google
it like
whatever
that.
it might be.
That's pretty
and it's gonna pop up for you. It's like
it has the sum of human.
When I say
why
knowledge,
didn't me and Courtney work out?
I should see.
Waiting.
I didn't say. I didn't. dot. Can't answer that one.
Let
Chris.
me get back to you. Have you ever heard her translate?
No.
I don't want to do it, but that thing translates mad languages. You can say, "Hey Siri," in Arabic, tell me how to go get the book. And I love you so much this morning. And the eggs you made me were great for breakfast. And she'll
Siri's
say,
trying to do it.
She'll say it like they say it.
Huh.
Yeah.
One moment.
Okay, here.
In the TV? Was that on the TV?
I don't know. Yeah, it was a second ago. We just asked her. See, she's everywhere.
Bad looking.
Hey Siri, in Arabic, how do you say, "I'm so obliged to be on this show today with you. You're a great host"?
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what you said?
We'll mess with you later.
Hey Siri.
We still love you, baby.
In Arabic, can you say that
What would you like
Now they got two going against each other. There's about to be a fight.
it's about to be a fight?
in Arabic, players?
One word.
Play. No, I think she just translated play. She. Siri.
It's like in
a she.
English. Fight. Right. Except I think there's a little bit like fight. It's a little bit more serious.
Oh my God.
Well, you're required in the Middle East to have an AK-47 in your house. Like most countries, they require you to have that for like protection, and also to join your new
Is
local militia.
is that viewed as being too dated or old school? Like, I mean, that's the code of the West. Is like, I mean, it's the right to bear arms. If everyone has a gun, they learn how to use it, and you don't get in gunfights very often.
Right. Well, a lot of people realize one of the things that's so wrong about Mexico is that guns are illegal in Mexico. So the only people that have guns are the cartel guys and the cops, who are like the cartel guys' cousins. So the people of the town can never secure their villages because if you get caught with a gun, it's like a really big deal.
Yeah.
Gun possession charge in New York City is also a very big deal.
Yeah.
Illegal possession of a weapon. Any type of time that this is involved, bad news.
What about England? England, they don't. The police, the bobbies don't have guns, correct?
I think they do have people that have guns, like on their units where they're working, but like it's not an active thing where
Not a
they're
sidearm.
Yeah, like our cops kind of front that they have guns. Like I don't think
Brandish.
they're so. Yeah, you can't just whip out a gun if you had one. I mean, that's called brandishing a weapon. That's a charge.
Yeah.
Some places that's even like that's assault. Like you showed me there was a rapper who got in trouble with that once. It was like 50 Cent or something showed some guy's gun like at the basketball game one day. He was pissed at him. He wanted to start a fight with him.
I remember that.
And they were like, you can't just be
see
whipping
it.
out your
Sometimes
gun.
They pull their shirt up and you see it right there in their waist.
Well, that reminds me of maybe like MTV Raps or something like that. Like I used to do videos for these guys like DMX and the Rough Riders. And that was just that was a crazy crew.
You used to do their music videos.
We would shoot their videos, like these rappers like Lil' Kim, Cassidy, and these guys, they like to ride motorcycles and have a good time. They're really they're
That's
really
what you
crazy.
Said. You're in the fun business. You're in the fun industry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Some of them do have weapons, but they don't really like to pull those out and have to take a revenge on somebody. Why would you destroy your life like that? These guys don't want to make money. They want to sell iTunes,
Yeah.
Money just flies through the air, right?
Yeah. Right. Sure. In the videos.
I just press click. 13,000 already, Right. If you're
amazing.
a big star, Billy Garris right here, that's what I'm talking about. Look at this graphic. So sweet. I love it. I love the graphic. I just love it.
I love that too. You know, it's just a little app on the phone. It cartoonizes it, and I kind of cropped it a little bit. I got my blue water bottle.
There you go. Is that taking down the shore?
That's my studio in my house.
Oh, okay. I'd love to check that out sometime.
Yeah, please do.
I'm building these now for a lot of different people and different versions in their houses and things like that.
I need you to come by.
I'd love to come by and check it out.
Yeah, let me know how to do it.
There's a lot of simple things you can do with live streaming, like that'll really help people, and that's what that's what we're sort of focused on, like designing these studios, but also creating this content for people who are selling real estate, or maybe they're into fashion and makeup or food, whatever. You know, it's just about getting something that is really tight, it's polished.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that people always underestimate with this podcasting or streaming, whatever it is, the viewer will always tolerate bad video before they tolerate bad audio.
Interesting.
Right? Like if you think about the things that you watch.
Yeah.
And you notice how these mics sound so deep and rich and good because these are really high quality mics.
Right.
Not the biggest fan. I like my mic pinned on me because I move away from it a lot.
Yeah.
You know? But just simple things like that, having a nice SM7B Shure with a cloud lifter will boost your voice,
Yeah. Pillars of community, Dude, this is kind of ironic or whatever the word is. This is episode 30.
This is the 30th episode, bro. That is awesome, man.
And the fact that we have the visual, and in the studio with this amped up audio.
Yeah.
So I think I'm this is gonna be my spot. This is where this is gonna be
Let's
HQ.
do it. Let's do it, man. Larry King didn't have much more than this. He had a table and a microphone.
Yeah. And some suspenders.
And some
snappy suspenders.
And about 8 wives. 7 wives, maybe.
Unbelievable. What a guy.
Somebody said like they saw a headline on TMZ. I'm on these like Facebook pages like CNN alumni, or I used to work at MTV when it was cool is actually a good one. And the one on Larry King said something like $150 million divorce up in the air, Larry King. And somebody wrote on the CNN Facebook page like, who in the hell would have thought Larry had $150 million left? left. After all these, why? I guess he did, but it's kind of like when you listen to the radio now with Rush Limbaugh, they're still playing him on the radio now. And they're still playing Larry King
from noon to 3. They still play. I mean, I don't know about every day, but they'll slip in at one of his better shows.
It's just absolutely phenomenal how when you have a star power like that, it just translates and your reach is just so wide. Rush had the biggest contract in radio. Did you know that? In the history of radio. I mean,
he basically invented talk radio. From nothing.
Okay, so let me get your opinion.
He started. They compared him when he passed. They compared him to other sort of like a Tom Brady or a Michael Jordan, or it's like the best of any sort of sport or industry. It's like he created the industry. Talk radio.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then he's the best at it.
Right.
And so that's next level.
The last contract that Rush signed, which was about a decade before his death, what do you think he signed for? How much money?
1 year.
10 years.
10-year contract.
They want him for like long term.
10-year deal.
10-year deal. Rush Limbaugh. How much?
It's going to be north of $100 million. Correct.
Even Howard was $100 million. Come on.
Howard Stern.
Yeah. When he signed with Sirius like 10 years ago. You know what Rush Limbaugh's contract was?
Tell me.
It was $500 million.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
$500 million for 10 years.
And he fulfilled it.
Puts you at $50 million a year.
He fulfilled the contract. Right.
He fulfilled it, meaning
he worked those 10 years and they signed him again. He's a billionaire. Rush died a billionaire easily.
Oh yeah.
I always imagined him doing his show on like a yacht in Palm Beach, like somewhere where you couldn't get to him. It was like a super villain, like on the water. What was that movie we were watching last night? The Marvel movie. And there's like a water space jail that comes up out of the water. You've been watching a little bit about these
I've been
movies,
in the
right?
MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
There it is.
Yeah.
And you told me you're going through the series right now. I've been watching some of these lately. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What's up with that one?
That's Captain America. Is that right?
Yeah,
or no?
Captain America series, I think.
I think it is. But I've been getting through the Marvel. I wanted to go from the first produced Marvel, which was, I believe, Iron Man. and I'm on phase 2 right now. I'm in the second take on Thor, the second installation of Thor, Dark World.
The guy they picked for that is awesome. Man. He looks
Chris
exactly
Hemsworth.
like him. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
they're so good. I mean, Tony Stark or Robert Downey Jr. is phenomenal playing Iron Man.
He's just he redefined that. Then no one could ever really do that. It's almost like me with Christopher Reeves and Superman. When I was a kid, I was like, "That's Superman!" Like,
it's the icon that would never be like, it's forever etched.
Right. They've come out with Superman a couple times. You know, the kid they've got, he's really handsome, he's muscular, flies around, but it's just not like
Christopher Reeve.
Superman pulling Lois Lane out of the helicopter like in New York. She's hanging by the CV.
Yeah. But I took a break from the universe to get in with the Oscars because it's Oscar week.
So tell me, this is the
Oscar
93rd
week.
Oscars coming up.
Yes.
So tell me, what movies do you think have got it?
So I'm walking my way through the Best Picture nods, right?
Yeah, there's like 7 or 8.
I think there's 8.
Okay.
So you're correct. I've done Promising Young Woman. I watch and I write. So I watched that. And I wrote a little. I don't like to call it a review. It's more like the way that it hits me or has maybe kind of inspired me, opened my eyes. I think every movie or every work of art can speak to everybody. So how the movie speaks to me, basically, Promising Young Woman, very, very good. Sound of Metal. That's the drummer that goes deaf.
Yes, that looked like he looks like a Ryan Gosling
Sir, have you
kind
seen
of
it?
guy.
No, I haven't. I'm really excited.
Sound of Metal is on. It's Amazon Prime free.
Okay,
you got Amazon.
Yeah,
it's
check it out.
legit good. Really good acting. Like all these movies are really good acting, but it's powerful. It's powerful. There's not much dialogue, but it speaks.
Is this the first time that an Amazon picture is up for the Oscar?
It's a great question.
For picture of the
great
year?
question.
Because Amazon, if they win that legitimizes them in the Hollywood, community.
Pantheon.
I mean, right?
There's one Amazon. There's 2 Netflix. There's 1 Hulu.
Who would have thought?
Back
in the day,
half of the Best Picture nominees are from streaming services. Production.
Jeez.
Unbelievable.
Oh, Harvey Weinstein's turning over in his jail cell right now.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, yeah, right.
Freaking out.
Well said.
I mean, who would have thought that you could ever do, a major picture like that and have it not be in Hollywood is like psycho.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's a sign of the times. I love going to the movie theater. I love the smell of the popcorn. I love the atmosphere, like the ticket. You go downstairs. A lot of times it's dark and like it's really cold on a hot summer day and all this sort of stuff. The nostalgia, but it's also really easy just to grab your remote and punch on whatever movie you want.
Unbelievable now, from theater right to your couch. I mean, the level of what people are watching now in their house. I mean, you're watching it on like 80-inch screen.
That's such a good point.
Freaking
that wall
system in your living room sounds like it's gonna fall down. Like
TV. Right.
Wonder Woman's here.
They're calling the police because you got noise ordinance.
Yeah, I remember when it was like, oh, we got hooked up. We got a sound bar. Like, what's up? You guys ready?
Yeah, right.
Listen to this bass.
Sound bar. I got a subwoofer behind the couch in the wall. How much that cost and how long that takes?
But yeah, got it at Bose. It was like, it's like $1,000.
Right.
See the systems now.
Home theater.
Yeah. Home theater. Forget that, man.
But I watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay.
And that was HBO Max production, but they withdrew it from like their streaming, so you had to pay $20 for that.
So I guess this is
pay
a
Amazon
biblical theme.
Yeah. It's 60s, late 60s. J. Edgar Hoover.
Okay, so it takes
Fred
place in the 60s.
Hamilton,
okay, right.
I think his name was the leader of the Black Panthers.
Interesting.
And
see, now I
so
definitely want to see this.
the police, where they weren't great, they were pretty brutal to black people, and black people were like, you know what, we got to maybe fight fire with fire and be brutal back.
Right.
So
the Black Panthers.
Everyone armed up.
Right.
And there were shootouts and stuff like that. There's blood in the streets and stuff. And it was, I would imagine, a very, very hard time. On the heels of like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King both being assassinated.
This is the civil rights
late 60s.
Yeah.
Late 60s. And so Judas and the Black Panther, Judas, it's a true story. This I forget the guy's name, but it was a guy got picked up, a black guy got picked up for a crime. Gets taken into the station. The guy's like, hey, you can go to jail 5 years for this, 3 years for this, or you can walk away right now and you're going to be our mole. You're going to be our informant. So he's like, I'll take that deal.
Forever.
So this black guy went in with the Black Panthers, and, you know, he's the Judas. The betrayer of the Black Messiah. Which leads to the police coming to the house and like the raid and the Black Messiah. His name's Fred Hudson or Hamilton. I keep messing it up, going back and forth.
Now, just so for the people who might not be religious when you're out there, Judas is a term for a traitor.
That's correct.
It goes back to when Judas was a really important part of the disciples.
He was one of the 12 apostles.
Yeah, he was in the band. He was in the band.
Yeah,
right. And he sold out the lead singer, man.
Yep, that's it. That's it. I mean, it's funny that like J. Edgar Hoover was the first director of the FBI, right? And he said, they have real tape of him saying that he did some controversial stuff, but like we have to watch out because there's the rise, and we got to watch out for the Black Messiah. That was his line that he said to his people of the FBI. So we have to watch out for this revolutionary sort of group of African Americans that are given a lot of pushback, probably rightfully so.
I bet a lot of people said about Black Lives Matter today. Well, I know they do. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there who are so active in these social movements. It's like, define them. You know what I mean? And, you know, I have a little bit of a conflicting feeling about it because, you know, I say like all lives matter, but then Black lives do matter too. You know, so do Asian lives, so do Spanish and Latino lives. That's why I was saying earlier, it feels like almost every race for themselves now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like
everything. How about everything matters?
Right.
Especially,
everything matters.
Especially
That's
lives.
exactly it. What do you feel about the verdict that just came in?
Chauvin.
How do you feel about the verdict with Chauvin?
I was about to ask you that.
Right.
I think that he was probably in the wrong to sit on the guy for that long, and the police officers that were also there with him are culpable.
Yeah.
Like, how come one of those three people can't be like, this is off, this is wrong? Did the guy has some strikes against him? I think, you know, he had some like sort of like violations in the police department. He seemed like a bad apple.
Real leadership is about being able to exert control when needed, and that's what he didn't do. You know what I mean? And, you know, they really did a good job with the trial trying to muddy the waters, but the video just sealed him, you know?
Well, I didn't watch any of the trial. What was his defense?
Well, actually, you had
that he was on some drugs that might have caused his death?
You had the ex-medical examiner. Jeez, I can't even. I'm glad I'm not live on the air. You had the ex-medical examiner from Maryland testify that he believed he died from a heart condition exacerbated by being on drugs, and then the stressful situation of someone jumping on your neck. You know, at the same time, they can't really prove that, because when you die of any type of heart-related issue, it's almost like trying to diagnose a car engine when it's off. To really diagnose somebody's heart issues, you need to listen to their heart, but also they've taken the toxicology. They know he was on drugs, but still it didn't justify the behavior. Somebody in that unit should have jerked him right off of that guy and said, yo, this is not just for you, this is for all of us. Because now look at what all of them are going to have to go through. They're looking at charges, a lot of them. He's looking at possibly 40 years.
Chauvin.
His life is over.
Yeah.
He is that guy now. All you people out there, think about that when you're in that major, you know, the point of making a decision that could change your life. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
You talking about from a police perspective? Or?
Yeah. Well, you know, like right now, if I was a cop, you'd literally have to shoot me for me to pull my gun on you. I'm taking the bullet. It's too risky.
It's very, very, it's the hardest job going.
The risk of me getting killed, right, by you because I make a mistake,
right,
versus you killing me with my vest and all my other stuff.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a lot of cops out there. Especially if you've been on the forces for a long time, like you're close to retirement, you're going to have to cut my hand off before I pull my gun.
Yeah. It's very, very hard.
Hardest job out there.
I totally think so. I totally think so.
They need to pay them more. They
especially
need
now.
to screen them harder.
They say, I mean, I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he's like, they're training. The training is they need to have
Outdated.
more training.
Yeah.
They're like the guys should be like Rogan's a big MMA martial arts guy. He's like everyone should move up to a purple belt, like a pass to be a purple belt, so you know how to disarm these people, how to deal with them without using all this force, without pulling the gun, perhaps. And so it starts, and it was screening and just making sure. I mean, that's the tough answer right there. That's money, that's time, but I think it seems to me to be the route to go to get us pointed in the right direction with the force.
I thought this was all going to come down to cops just losing their guns in general and having to, subvert to some type of non-lethal protection. Like, have you seen those burner
Like a
pellets?
taser or something?
Well, like a burner pellet, it shoots these pepper balls with CO2, but it's really accurate from far away.
Interesting.
So, like, you can kind of like incapacitate somebody to either cuff them or get away. If you're in Montgomery Mall,
Yeah.
guys coming at you with the shopping bag.
Yeah.
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 You don't kill them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just gives you enough time to get away because tasers are sketchy. You know what I mean? You can shoot yourself with them. It's a thing. It just comes out.
Wire comes out of it?
Yeah, it's like a lot. I don't even know. Have you ever been tased?
No. You got one?
You want to really get the viewers up right now?
did.
Actually, we just went. Tell you right over here today.
Yeah, right.
We got you one. Yeah, but we're living in crazy times. I've never been a gun guy. I don't own any guns. I don't want any guns. I don't want people with guns around me unless we're like on a hunting trip or something.
Yeah.
And then please watch me with this gun. I hold it up with the safety on, and I don't know, something might happen. Very scary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So who knows, where can you hunt around here? This is the Washington suburbs, man. All right.
Yeah, it's but
You got any bears down there in Chevy Chase, man?
Landon,
What are you going to do? You going to get a 44 Magnum
Bears.
for a raccoon in your trash can?
But still, you got to write. You got to write.
Yeah. Those raccoons down in Chevy Chase get pretty big, man. I used to have to take my trash in all the time. They know what houses
All
to
that
hit.
food,
They
all that
know.
trash.
Hey, they get
High on
Balducci's.
the-
Let's go
high
down
on the
there.
hog. Right.
They had a
right.
crab feast yesterday. Let's go over there.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of that,
go ahead.
I'm going to test your Maryland skills right now.
Please.
Your Maryland knowledge. Me and my friend have been talking about this.
You
know the average price of a bushel of crabs right now? What do you think it is?
Bushel of crabs.
Bushel, that's a lot.
5 dozen. Is that right?
Is it 5 dozen? I have no idea exactly how
Somewhere
many
in there.
dozen that is. I just know the bushel is like the standard.
$100 hair.
So you think it's 100? So we walked into Bethesda Crab House the other day. See the guy? I said to my friend, he doesn't know anything about crabs. I go, crabs is like the Bitcoin of food. You never really know how much it's going to be.
Yeah.
I walk into the guy
Currency.
and I go, how much is a bushel? He goes, 400.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes.
I go, wait, listen, dude, I didn't pull up in the Tesla or anything, dude.
Yeah.
Like, take it easy.
And we came up on foot.
And it's only going up, buddy. I said, dude, if I saw you roll up the Tesla, maybe 600.
It's crab season. We're getting right back into it, man.
Yeah.
So exciting. The weather's turned and summer's straight ahead. So I just want to thank you, Mr. Carter.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. I really
opening
appreciate
up the
it.
studio.
Yeah, this is great. I hope you'll, look at the playback and understand how handsome you still are after all these years, you old man.
Back at you. Anyway, it's a pleasure. We'll do it again. Get you over to my studio.
Awesome.
But
I love it.
you're awesome. Chris Carter, Carter Rock. Check him out. Carter Rocks.
That's right. I got my big audience on Parler at Carter CH75. But just Google Carter Rocks. You'll see my knucklehead all over the internet.
Great. You got it. You heard it here. Thank you guys. Pillars of the community. Billy Gersh.